Hey beauties! Welcome back to the Global Fashion Workshop. I remind you that we post new videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. In our previous lesson, we started working on designing a lace set that includes bralette and panties. Now we are going to design the panties. To start designing, we need graph paper, a pencil and a ruler. Let's start now. In the upper left corner of our sheet, we put a point. Draw a vertical downward through this point. On this vertical, we set aside the length of the seat from the first point. In my case, it is 26 centimeters. Now we need to postpone the length of the gusset from the obtained second point. It is calculated as follows. Divide the girth of the thigh by 10 and subtract 2 centimeters. 2 centimeters is a constant value for all sizes. By my standards, it turns out 8.2 centimeters. This is the length of the gusset. I repeat, divide the hip girth by 10 and subtract 2 centimeters. From the first point, which was set in the upper left corner, set a horizontal line to the right. Now we need to constrain our drawing. From the initial point to the right, we postpone the measurement that we calculate according to the following formula. This is the girth of the hips. We divide the girth of the hips by 4 and multiply by the coefficient of the extensibility and subtract 2 centimeters. In my case, this is 18.7 centimeters. We limited the drawing on the right side, postponed the measurement hips. Now we need to lay down the waistline. The front and back halves can be built separately. We found out the width of the panties at the waist. We multiply the measure of the waist circumference by the coefficient of elongation, divide by 4 and postpone the resulting one from our original point. In my case, it is 14.8 centimeters. Through the obtained points, I must draw horizontals and verticals. See how it's done? This is the basic grid. The drawing is bounded by measurements from the top, bottom left and right. Draw horizontals and verticals through all the obtained points. And here's what happens. I will repeat the main things for you now. From the original point downwards, we have postponed the measurement of the length of the seat. We put down the length of the gusset from it. It is calculated as follows. Divide the girth of the thigh by 10 and subtract 2 centimeters. Further, from the initial point, we set aside the horizontal to the right and set the measurements on the horizontal. Divide the girth of the hips by 4 and multiply by the coefficient of elongation and subtract 2 centimeters. We have limited our drawing. We found the width at the waist. We multiply the measure of the waist circumference by the coefficient of elongation, divide by 4, and postpone the resulting one from our original point. We need to find out the height of the panties from the waist, where the upper cut of the panties will be located. From the original first point, we lay down 8 centimeters. This value is the same for all sizes. On the most extreme vertical of the right side, we lay down the measurement of the hip height. For all sizes, it is average from 18 to 22 centimeters. I take 18 centimeters for size 42. And on the far right vertical from the top, I lay down the measurement for hip height 18 centimeters. I connect the waist width point to the hip height point. This is the axis. The main line for the side seam of the panties. On this line, lay 6 centimeters on top. When we connect these points, 8 centimeters and 6 centimeters, this is the top cut of the panties. Now I put aside the width of the panties along the side seam. We take 4 centimeters for size 42. These 2 points define the side seam of the panties. Let's circle these lines. Go to the bottom of the drawing. From the lowest point downwards, we postpone the measurement, divide 1.4 of the gusset length by 4 and put the resulting value up and down. From the obtained points to the right, we set aside the horizontal lines 3.5 centimeters. Please repeat after me. From the top to the bottom and from the bottom to the top, we lay aside 1 centimeter. And now, using a piece, I carefully connect these points. The upper line is convex and lower one is concave. I apply the pattern so that there is a line that suits me. I work especially with black felt tip pen, so you can see everything clearly. We connect the points of the top of the panties. I apply a lappet. From the left point, the line should come out at a right angle, and I go to the side. I connect the bottom of the side seam of the panties with a straight line and this point. And from this point, I take a straight line to this lower point. We divide the straight short one in half. 13.2 for me, and put the perpendicular to the inside of the drawing at a right angle to this line. Set aside 5 centimeters on this perpendicular. You can take 4 centimeters if 5 is too much for you. I set aside 5 centimeters, and now we need to draw out this cut out line for the legs. Draw a semicircle from the side point. We divide this line in half. We put aside a small perpendicular 0.7 centimeters in the outer border of the drawing. From the line where we limited the gusset, we lay 8 centimeters up from it. This will be the length of the gusset. We draw a horizontal line. We put aside 2.5 centimeters on it. And now back to the leg cut out, and we go to the gusset. I apply the template and see what happens. I unfold the pattern and go to the point of the gusset. Then we will design the pattern in different color and everything will be clear. The top cut of the panty fits the back half. The line goes off at right angles. This is the front half, but this one is already back, and we connect by points. From this point we leave here to this point, and we draw up a cut line for the legs of the back half. I'll draw with a pencil now. Also, please notice that the cut out line for the legs of the front half goes to the bottom point and the back half goes up. Now we will outline them in different colors. Black first. Now we outline the front half with a different color. The panties will be sewn so that the gusset is sewn on separately. We circle. The middle of the front half is red. I went to the gusset. We outline the waistline. The waistline of the front half is lower. We circle the side seam of the panties. And now let's circle the cutout line for the legs of the front half. Here is the front half. Next, there will be modeling, and then everything will be clearer. Now we outline the gusset. It will be a separate piece and outline it in green. At this point I will duplicate the line. There will be a seam in the future. To the lower border of the drawing, draw a circle around the lower border. This is the gusset. Front half, gusset, and now we outline the back half in a different color. The waistline is slightly higher here. Outlined in blue. Duplicate the side seam. Leg cut out, also in blue. I turn over the pattern and the bottom of the drawing. We repeat. The small detail in the front half, cut off gusset in green, The third piece is in the back half. Circle the middle of the back half without touching the red line to make it clear that this is the back half.
Я специально дублирую немножечко пожирнее, чтобы вам было понятно. И нижняя граница чертежа, посмотрите.
We have finished building the basic panty base. In the next lesson, we will model a pattern. Don't forget to buy our sewing courses. The link will be down below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!